Why did Lord Krishna ask Arjuna to become a yogi? That is indeed a very perplexing question. Let us go through the chain of events step by step. As soon as he entered the battlefield of Kurukshetra to fight the Mahabharata war, Arjuna asked his friend and charioteer Lord Krishna to place the chariot in between opposing armies to survey the enemy. There, Arjuna saw the mighty Kaurava army along with Lord Krishna's army assembled against him, including his own relatives, teachers, friends, and loved ones. When he saw all that, Arjuna literally fell apart. Understanding a very confused and depressed state of mind of Arjuna, Lord Krishna first advised Arjuna about Sankhya philosophy, not Sankhya yoga. There is no such yoga in Hinduism. And then about the importance of selfless actions, Nishkama karma, in life. After that, Lord Krishna decided to tell Arjuna the greatness and importance of yoga. In the second chapter itself, Lord Krishna made Arjuna aware of the fact that a yogi lives like a lotus leaf. Raindrops fall on a lotus leaf, but lotus leaf is not affected by the raindrops. Similarly, a yogi lives in the world, but the yogi is unaffected by the world. Lord Krishna said, Arjuna, just as the ocean is unaffected by the waters of innumerable rivers flowing into it, a yogi is unaffected by the sensual pleasures due to the positive and negative reactions to the actions he or she does. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 70. Lord Krishna continued, Arjuna, a yogi is superior than an ascetic, greater than a jnani, person who follows jnana yoga, and superior than a person who is ritualistic. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, tries to become a yogi. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 46. Like in the lives of everybody else, things come and go in a yogi's life. But yogi does not exhibit any emotion when things are great or when things are bad. Many have no idea that they do not have to be a Hindu to become a yogi. There are billionaires who live the life of a yogi, even though they might not be aware of the fact that they meet the definition of a yogi. Lord Krishna introduced Raja Yoga in the following manner in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna said, Arjuna, this royal knowledge, this kingly secret is the purest of all knowledge. It is directly perceivable, easy to practice, and imperishable. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 2. Raja Yoga is discussed at length by sage Patanjali in his popular book Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Raja Yoga consists of 8 steps: Yama, moral conduct; Pratyahara, withdrawal of senses from sense objects; Niyama, observances; Dharana, concentration; Asana, right posture; Dhyana, meditation; Pranayama, control of prana; at the end, Samadhi. Lord Krishna delved further into yoga, describing about pranayama in the Bhagavad Gita. Pranayama is the combination of 2 words. Prana means breath, ayama means suspension or stoppage of breath. Lord Krishna said, Arjuna, some offer as a sacrifice the outward breath, apana, into inward breath, prana, and offer as a sacrifice inward breath, prana, into outward breath, apana, resulting in the stoppage of all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 29. This is almost like a snake devouring itself through the tail. Amazing. Lord Krishna also said, O Arjuna, yoga is not possible for the one who eats too much or who does not eat at all. Yoga is not possible who sleeps too much or who keeps always awake. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 16. Lord Krishna is asking us to live in moderation and to live a very balanced life. You do not have to starve to become spiritual. You do not have to adopt severe austerities in life to become spiritual. You do not have to deny sex to your spouse to become spiritual. You do not have to wear kavi or saffron robes to become spiritual. You do not have to do anything extraordinary to become spiritual. Just live a very natural, balanced life. You may ask yourself why Lord Krishna is giving utmost importance to yoga. Answer is, thousands of years ago, rishis, scientists of the ancient India, found out there is a strange connection between thoughts, breath, and mind. Rishis found out when you reach breathless state, you automatically attain thoughtless state. Rishis also found out when you reach thoughtless state, you automatically attain breathless state. The breathless state is something that happens naturally as people have deeper experiences of meditation. It can happen for short periods of time, minutes, or much longer. When one goes into the highest state of samadhi, the breath and heart can both stop for a prolonged amount of time. Whenever we get angry or emotional or sad, we have to watch our breathing pattern. It will be erratic and short and rapid. When we immerse ourselves in spirituality, we see that breaths we are taking are deep and long. When we take deep breaths, we are less angry and less emotional and more peaceful. Raja Yoga teaches thoughts, mind are deeply affected by our breathing pattern. When our breathing is fast and shallow and short, we will become very emotional, angry and sad. Reverse is equally true. Rishis taught us, if you breathe like a monkey, you will die like a monkey in few years. If you breathe like a tortoise, you will live for a long time like a tortoise. Breathe less, we live longer. Fast and erratic breathing over a long term will badly affect the heart and create cardiovascular illnesses as well as contribute to a shorter life expectancy. Mammal, breaths per minute, average. Lifespan, average. Mouse, 150 BPM, 2 years. Rabbit, 60 BPM, 6 years. Monkey, 30 BPM, 20 years. Dog, 50 BPM, 15 years. Human, 15 to 30 BPM, 60 to 80 years. Horse, 10 to 15 BPM, 50 years. Sea tortoise, 4 BPM, 150 to 200 years. Rishis also found out the very best way to manage anxiety and stress is to practice Hama or Soham breathing exercise, which is known as baby pranayama, which involves watching inhalation and exhalation without interfering the flow pattern of air or chest or nostril movements. Ha is the sound of the breath on a repeat. Ha is the sound of the breath on our exhalations, and Sa is the sound of the inhalations. You can do this exercise anywhere at any time. Of course, please do not do this when driving. First result is you will fall asleep. Next result is you will have thought-free periods of time. Third result is you will start enjoying inner peace even when the whole world is screaming at you. Patanjali wrote in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, "What is yoga?" Sage Patanjali said, "Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha." Yoga, union with divine. Chitta Vritti, mental vibrations. Nirodha, stoppage. Yoga or self-realization means stoppage of the mental activity. Rishi Vashishta told Lord Rama in the Yoga Vashishta. Chit chalati samsare nichale moksha muchayatha. When chit, mind, chalati, vibrates, this whole world comes to existence. And when the mind stops vibrating, stoppage of thoughts, this whole world is destroyed and the person attains salvation. Hindu scriptures give utmost importance to brain. According to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, a dead pharaoh's brain was scooped out through nostrils and fed to birds in preparation for mummification. Whereas in Hindu scriptures like Vedanta Sutra, it is written, all happiness and unhappiness are within the brain. Hindus are the only people who deal with chakras and kundalini. When kundalini energy reaches the top of the head called Sahasrara, the person becomes fully aware of himself or herself and the whole universe. That is the reason why Lord Krishna gave utmost importance to thoughts, mind, and breathing, which are connected with the brain, in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. The video you just watched was made by Ed Vishwanathan, who has written and published 3 international bestsellers: Am I a Hindu?, Amazing Secrets of the Bhagavad Gita, and Amazing Secrets of Hinduism, which are used in many universities in USA and Canada and have received rave reviews from many Indian newspapers and magazines, as well as from the Library Journal, bookless magazines in the United States.